Garrett.
Thank you, and I appreciate your testimony today. Appreciate you also being here from the private sector. You probably feel a little lonely sometime over at the White House in that respect, but I'm glad that you're here coming with that experience. One point, though, you did just say that there are no tax increases for those folks who are making under
$250,000.
So
families under $250,000, individuals under $200K.
So if I'm a part of a family that does not buy health insurance in violation of the president's health care program, and I have to pay because of that, that is not a tax on me?
The Affordable Care Act saves money.
I understand that, but is that a tax on me then if I do not pay with that, or is that not a tax?
I'm not sure I'm following the question.
You said there's no tax increases if people make under $250,000. If I make under $250,000 and I do not buy health insurance as I'm required to under the Affordable Health Care Act, is that a tax on me or is that not a tax on me?
Well, this is...
a moment ago you said there's no tax increase.
There aren't. There would be...
So that's not a tax?
No.
That's not a tax. Okay, that's just want to be clear on that because that's not the argument that the administration is making. But let's move on before the Supreme Court. I appreciate, again, the fact that you are from the private sector, 2 decades in the private sector, leading public companies. In that area of responsibility, did you always have a budget like you're doing? You always had to present a budget, I guess, for those companies, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And that's why I do sincerely commend the administration for coming forward with this budget. Do you anticipate that this budget will be taken up in the Senate?
I look forward to the policies in this budget being put into law.
When you were
on a sustainable path. I'm not an expert in process of Congress or process, but I will tell you that I look forward to the policies that are embedded in this budget.
When you were leading public companies, would it be responsible to have a budget in public companies?
Absolutely.
When you were leading public companies, would it be fair to say it would be irresponsible not to have a budget?
Yes, and I would say that as the CEO of a public company, and if you think of the president as the CEO of this country,
right,
that CEO has come forward on multiple occasions,
and that's why
serious proposals.
And I appreciate that, and that's why I thank the administration. I thank you for being here, just as Paul did as well, because it's a hard seat to sit in, and I appreciate the administration for putting pen to paper and actually outlining it. That is good, so we have something to dialogue with.
But I want to emphasize, it's not the first time the president put forward a proposal in April.
I'm not going back in history. I'm just saying, no. I appreciate that. I'm just hearing from you that it's responsible to have a budget. Last year, the president proposed a budget to the Senate, and he got 0 votes, if I'm understanding. Recently, the Senate president said that he has no intention of putting a budget up. So, as far as I understand right now, I commend you and I commend the president for coming forward with a budget, but as of right now, if what you said before, it's a responsible thing to have a budget, it's irresponsible not to have a budget.
As the chairman
it would seem as though it would be irresponsible for Senate President Reed to not take this budget up and have a vote on this. Would you agree with that?
As the chairman said, the president and obviously the legislative bodies put into effect the balance, the BCA last summer. That serves as a budget, and that's a real accomplishment. It gets us going.
So we don't need this budget.
Gets us going. So what we need is this budget. We need the policies embedded in this 2013 budget the president has put forward.
But that'll only be done.
$4 trillion of deficit.
Excuse me, sir. It's our time. My time.
Passed into law.
So that only will be done if it will be passed into law if Senator Reed takes this up in the in a budget in the Senate. So we are both on the same page.
I hope that the Senate and the House work together to make sure that the president's policies are enacted into law as soon as possible. We achieve the deficit reduction.
And if we do that, let me ask you another quick question. You give me just one-year answer. If we pass this budget tomorrow, when does the budget balance in this country under your proposal?
We achieve significant progress.
I'm just looking for a year.
That we achieve significant progress.
Just a year.
We bring...
just a year. When does this budget balance in this country under your proposal?
This budget makes a serious...
Just a year.
No, but there is...
just a year. Can you tell me when this budget balances?
That's not a year question.
Sure
what this budget does...
You can put a chart up here.
What this budget does...
I can put a chart up on the budget, the RSC budget, and it'll show you exactly when it will budget. I can put a Paul's budget. I'm looking... He's not answering the question. It's a simple question. I'm looking for a year. Paul's budget can tell us when the balance of the RC budget can tell us when it's balanced. A simple year. What year does your budget ever balance?
This budget makes significant progress across this decade. The president is willing.
Is it your answer that this budget
over
never
and over
balances?
he's willing to do more work to drive
Is it
toward
your answer
more
this
progress.
budget never balances?
Time for the gentleman has expired. The witness is
you.
obviously not going to answer the question.
Thank you.
Ms. Schwartz.